Hey ladies and gentlemen, Javier here with The Real Javier Novoa, a channel, a platform, and a modality where we apply the principles of interiorism to living free. And guys, what is living free? It's a good question, and it's something that more and more people are delving into and more people are discovering as we go into the age of people beginning to question the modern structures, or maybe the ancient structures that are still widespread in our world, whether that be political structures, whether it be corporate structures. People are questioning them all, and people are reacting in different ways. Well, pushing against something, as we know, as we who have studied law of assumption, law of attraction, so on and so forth, is never the answer, because pushing against something simply creates more of it. Of course, as Abraham Hicks has amply talked about, we've had the war against drugs, the war against teenage pregnancy, the war against poverty, and we've seen all that increase. So any war against anything is not going to solve it. We teach another way here on The Real Javier Novoa and in interiorism. We teach basically living free is, first of all, accepting that things are the way that they are on the outer, and that we're really not here to change the outer. That's right. We're not here to change anyone's mind, and we're not here to change society. We're not here to change politics or corporate structures. That change is coming. It will come, but it will only come as more and more individuals awaken, and as more and more individuals decide of their own accord to live differently. Well, interiorism and this channel about living free is here to teach you how to live differently, to give you the tools of living differently. We're still in the middle of our explanation of interiorism. And of course, we're going to go into the scientific proofs for that. We're going to be giving you many tools. We're always going to be giving you tools and techniques on this channel to implement interiorism, to change any aspect of your life that you want. But I do want to go deeper into the philosophy of living free. And the philosophy of living free, again, is first of all rooted in allowing and acceptance. It's not a struggle against anything. It's a knowing of the actual basis of what's going on, and it's knowing what you don't like, of course, so that you can know what freedom is. How could you know what freedom is unless you've tasted the opposite of that? So it's an awareness of what's going on, but it's never a struggle against what's going on, because I've had several emails about people asking, well, what can we do? How can we actually change the institutions, and so on and so forth. We've talked a lot about the educational institution. We've talked a lot about the powers that be, but there's nothing that we directly do to change it. And this is, in fact, goes back to a long line of tradition of voluntarists, of libertarians, and of others who have advocated being free from the system, or rather being free of the system, of course participating in the system when it benefits us, but of being free first of all in consciousness, and second of all in the way that we live our lives, in as much as we can, taking that route of least resistance and taking that route that is the easiest way for all of us to follow. I hope you understand me just a little bit. We're going to be making more videos about this, but it goes back to the great Harry Browne, who was a libertarian philosopher in the United States, and he actually wrote a book, How to Live Free in an Unfree World, and that is found in many of the principles. And first you have to take charge of your own household and your own relationships, and that's not even a good way to describe it. Not take charge. First you have to utilize the tools that we give you in this channel to put into order everything that's around you. And that's why we go into the tools in this channel of how to live free. First of all, knowing that it's all within you, and then secondly, knowing how to get the most leverages and aspects of your life. And so therefore you're focusing on your surroundings first, your household, your family. How do you live? And a lot of it has to do with finances. And in tandem with the principles that we're giving of interiorism, of manifesting on the outer and so on and so forth, we're also giving you ways to smooth out the film roll. And I use this term a lot, smooth out the film roll. And what does it mean? And then why do we have to do it when we know that everything's coming from within? Therefore, people ask, well, should we have to do anything on the outer? Well, the answer depends on the way you see the circumstances. You see, as Vadim Zeland wrote in his book, Reality Transurfing, and I always recommend that people read this book, especially if they want to get a deeper understanding into the mechanics of how the universe works, and into the mechanics of how law of attraction and law of assumption works, and by extension, interiorism. So the universe has to be full of all of these possibilities, all of these potentialities. And they're all there in the universe. It's like it is described when people talk about a holographic universe. In one piece of it exists everything. Therefore, you as a piece of the universe, within you has to exist everything. And within you exists every potentiality. Well, all of these potentialities, of course, they're all going on concurrently and simultaneously because there is no time anyway. We know that from physics. But for you, all of these potentialities are dormant until you focus on one of them. So what you have to do if you want to, well, first of all, look at all of these potentialities as film rolls, and it's such a clever analogy because the film rolls are still, they only begin moving once we put them into that machine. That you remember those old film machines. And once we start putting lights on the frames, of course you really exist in one frame. And of course that one frame is a frame in many, if not all, of the potential film rolls, but we'll get deeper into that as well. But so in order to get onto another film roll, you simply have to shine the light of your attention on the film roll that you want to get to. There's a problem though. The more the current circumstances of your film roll demand your attention, the current film roll that you're on, the harder it's going to be to focus on another film roll. We've been talking about this from the early days of this channel. So in order to be able to focus more on the film roll that you want to move to, it behooves you to smooth out this film roll, and there are many ways of doing that. You could do it all in imagination, but that sometimes takes more effort. I remember a questioner was asking Abraham Hicks, is action the path of least resistance, or is thought or imagining the path of least resistance? And she said, it depends on every circumstance, on every individual circumstance. And she talked about the fact that if it's hot, you have two choices. You can go on and you can go and turn on the air conditioner or the fan, which you have immediate access to, or you can actually try to get in the state of it being cooler, which is possible also. It's very possible, and I've done it many times. But it's a lot easier, and it takes a lot less energy. It's the path of least resistance in that moment, just to go and turn on the air conditioner. So how do I bring this back to financial circumstances? Well, you have an intention of the financial level that you want to be on. It's going to be different for different people. Some people, let's say they have an intention of making $100,000 a month, and that is very doable. And you have it already. It's already going on in a certain film roll. And all you have to do again is shine the light of your attention on that film roll. The problem is, in this film roll, you're in debt, let's just say as an example, and you're only making $20,000 a year, and you cannot pay all of your debts with that. And you're not even sure how you can save money. Well, a way to smooth out that film roll, and there are many ways, is to say, you know what? I can save a tiny bit of money. I can save, let's say, $20 a week, and so I'm going to do that. By the simple act of doing that, you know that you're taking the first step. And Vadim Zeland always says, all you need to do is abide on the film roll that you want to be on, and then on the outer, take the next step. Abraham Hicks calls it the next logical step. And again, Vadim Zeland compared it to putting one foot in front of the other. So all you have to do on this film roll is put one foot in front of the other. And when you do that, by the way, so much stress is relieved. I remember even I was watching an interview with the very wealthy Jeff Bezos, the former CEO of Amazon, and he said a lot of times stress is caused by not doing what you know that you can do. And this is very, very true. When you do something on the outer that you know that you can do, that you know that it's relatively easy and accessible to do, now don't start getting crazy and try to do things that are way out of your reach. Do things that are easy to do, that are just one small step away from you to do, like saving $20 a week. He said that the stress of not doing what you know that you can do actually keeps you tied up so that then you cannot think creatively. He said something to this effect, and I know that it's true for my own life and my own businesses. So you do what you can do on this film roll. You smooth out that film roll. So a lot of living free is going to start with you taking very small steps. And we're even going to be bringing on guests for interviews to teach us how to take these small steps. We're going to be bringing in financial people. We're going to be bringing in prep people, like, for example, getting a small supply of food storage. Do you know food storage is not only for disasters, it's for, let's say you have some kind of crisis and you don't have money to buy food that week, or the money would be better spent. Well, you have some food sitting there. It's a sort of security. And we know that ultimate security is not on the outer, but the very act of taking action on the outer, it has what one could call a magical or vibrational effect on the inner. And it's all about attention. So if you're doing what you know that you can do, then you're going to have your attention freed for the real magic, guys. That's why we're going to start explaining simple steps that you can take to live free. And again, what does living free mean? It's going to mean different things for different people. But for me, what it means is not being dependent on a job. And that means being completely independent. That means being able to live where you want. It means being able to set up your own schedule. It means being able to go on vacation without asking someone, do I need to go, or can I go on vacation? And it means having reasonable expectation of security on this film roll that you can maintain the lifestyle that you want. We're going to teach you the steps to doing that. We're going to teach you a multi-pronged strategy for doing that on this channel over the next few weeks and months that you can come back to and sort of use as roadmap or a blueprint to getting completely free. I've seen people do it in 6 months. I know that almost everyone can do it in 1 year. I'm not talking about having a complete passive income. I'm not talking about being a millionaire, although it can happen and everything is possible. And if one has that intention to be a millionaire within a year, it can happen. But I'm talking about just from the perspective of this film roll. I'm not saying you're going to be a millionaire, but I am saying that you will be free from a job, you can be free from a boss, and you can have control over your schedule. You can be working the hours that you want to work when you want to work them, and you can have reasonable assurance that the income is going to carry you to higher endeavors and higher pursuits. That's what living free is all about, and that's what this channel is really all about. That's why we're bringing on people to help us. I'm going to help explain it. We're going to do it together, so that together, by living free, guys, we can create a new society of free individuals. It's not going to be by struggling against. It's not going to be by protesting. It's not going to be by political action. It's going to be by you and me not only setting the example, but holding the vibrational level of what it is to live free. You see, guys, these 9-to-5 jobs are obsolete. They're only there because the prison grid is imposing it. But who is the prison grid? You and I are the prison grid. We're going to talk about this more deeply in other videos. You and I, because we're constrained in our minds and we allow it, are the prison grid. The day that you and I refuse to go and work for 8 hours a day, and we set up our own system so that we don't have to do that, is the day that society changes, and the day that the whole concept of the work day and what work is rethought and reconstructed. And I know we can do it starting with the subscribers on this channel, starting with our success stories. Of course, there have been many people who have done this before us. Also, all of our systems, guys, they're antiquated, They're made for people who were artificially driven to the cities, many times against their better judgment. Now we can go back and actually live the free life that many people did live before the modern age, only with the new vibrations and the benefits of that industrial age. We can use that to actually be freer and to save a lot of labor. So we're going to be talking about this a lot on this channel. We're going to be making more videos about this, of course, interspersed with interiorism, because interiorism is the key, guys. But the house, the mansion, is this living free. We're going to describe it more. We're going to go into more detail, and that's what this channel wants to do, to help everyone who wants to watch and see, everyone who wants to take value from it, to help you live free. Of course, guys, I am doing coaching calls. You don't have to wait for the next videos to come out in the next few weeks. I can take you hand in hand through this modality using my years of experience in business and consulting, and we can get you on the pathway to being free from a job and a boss quicker than you thought possible. I will put my email in the description. Also, guys, if you find value in this material, please do subscribe to the channel. This is a message that is ripe for the entire world to receive and to hear, and it is a message who I believe time has come. So till very soon, guys, you guys have a great week. Much love and appreciation. This is Javier from The Real Javier Novoa, signing off for now.